Hey guys, it's Richard at Altfins with a market update. So I'm cautiously optimistic, positive in the near term, and I say that for a couple of reasons. Two big fears going into this year were one, that the executive order from the White House, Biden, that will attempt to regulate cryptocurrencies would be heavy-handed, but it wasn't. It was exactly the opposite. It really didn't do much, frankly. So I think that fear and risk is certainly dissipated, maybe not entirely behind us, but has diminished. And second, a big risk was the Fed raising interest rates. Some of the other central banks have begun already, and the Fed a couple of days ago on Wednesday did confirm that it raised interest rates by a quarter percentage point and intends to do another 6 or so quarter point 25 basis point increases this year. So now we know what it's been confirmed. It's somewhat priced in to the assets, not just crypto assets, but also equities and other assets, fixed income securities as well. So I think that these two fears and risks are somewhat priced into the assets. Now, obviously, there's still that geopolitical risk here, and inflation is still raging, and that could force the Fed's hand to be even more aggressive. But I think that two major risks are already priced in. And when I look at the price action for the two major assets, Bitcoin and Ethereum, I also see some positives here as well. So looking at Bitcoin, obviously it's been in a downtrend since November or so, but it's going sideways now more, right? And if you look back at last year, the sideways action also resulted in a major upswing or a bull market in the second half of 2021. I feel like this could be indicative of some similar situation, that the down market has now stabilized, or downtrend has stabilized. We're going sideways. In fact, if we look at the trends more carefully, we'll note that it actually has made higher lows recently, which is also positive. It hasn't quite made higher highs, and in fact, it's probably trading in an ascending triangle, which also our system confirms, but it's made higher lows. So there's been buyers stepping in every time at higher levels. When it came back and pulled back, the buyers stepped up at higher levels. So that's bullish. Clearly, it looks like it's now there's a MACD buy signal here. RSI is also crossed over 50 or so. So it looks like it's going to swing up to 45,000, and if we look at the patterns for BTC, here's this one right here, right? That's an ascending triangle, not perfect, but ascending triangle, and the price prediction is that it will approach 45,000, as I mentioned, from here on. And if it breaks above that 45,000 or so, then it could be a pretty nice bullish breakout, and that it would then rally likely to about 50,000 or so, which would be really a major resistance area, because it also coincides with the 200-day moving average. But in the near term, I do think that there's about 10% upside from 40 to 45. Secondly, let's take a look at Ethereum, another major, obviously, and similar situation, right? It wasn't a downtrend really since November, consistent lower highs and lower lows, and now we're seeing some more sideways action. It's really looking like a symmetrical triangle right here. It's almost at the point of breakout. So if we connect the lows and the highs here recently, it looks like a triangle. And that's a pattern that is typically indicative of market sideways action and somewhat indecision, sort of equal buyers and sellers, equally sort of bullish and bearish. But as you can see, the short-term trend has already turned bullish, which is great right here. The medium and the long term are still clearly have not reversed, but we could be at an early stage of a trend reversal. Near term also looks like we've got some good momentum indicated by the buy flag or MACD crossover. RSI is also above 50 center line, which is indicative of good momentum as well. So I think that we're likely to break out of this triangle bullishly and approach and reach 3,000 at a minimum. If we surpass 3,000, then we will make a higher high, which would be a very bullish sign, maybe a confirmation of a trend reversal, and then 3,500 would be the next level. So having said that, I also wanted to take a look at our new dashboard for some trading ideas beyond these two things. Again, we just introduced this new dashboard called Market Highlights, which really gives you some building blocks from your trading strategies. Each one of these also has a full description with links to additional articles or videos, tutorial videos or education videos. But one that really grabbed my attention is LUNA right here in the strategy of pullback in uptrend. This is a strategy where you basically buy the dips in coins that are trending up. The assumption is that the trend will resume, as it typically does. Trends have the tendency of continuing, so that's classic trend trading. And typically you wanna, or ideally you buy some of these on some pullbacks. And LUNA looks like one that is in an uptrend, as you can see here, on the short-term, medium, and long-term basis. And it's clear in the chart as well. Let's add some history here. And let's add MACD. And RSI as well. What we've seen is that this uptrend has been capped by the stiff resistance around the $100 level. Right here it was rejected the first time, then it pulled back, then it was rejected really the second time just about here. It didn't quite reach 100, but got very close. And then the third time it got rejected here as well. However, my bet is that now pulling back to $80, and that's what we also talk about in the curated chart. If you pull that up, right, is here we highlight the resistance area at $100 as well as the support. The nearest support area is $80. And that's a support area because in the past it acted as a resistance area back here, if you recall. And then once broken, the resistance area has become a support area. That's a concept known as polarity. And then most recently, once again, it acted as a support area. So now that we're back at the near $80, is where could be a good swing entry. And so with the assumption that it will bounce from here, we could also just wait for it to start bouncing before we actually buy it. But that would be the level that I would monitor. And to do that, you can create an alert. So let's go ahead and create a price alert real quick. So we're looking for LUNA, and once we have that, oh my bad, we want to also say that alert me when the price is above, wait a minute, when price is below $80, right? When it gets there. In fact, we could say 81, not quite 80. Okay. When we do that, we add an alert, give it a name, Luna under 81. Should we buy it? Perhaps we should. Okay, so now we'll see that alert in our alerts section, and right here the alerts will show up as well as in your email box as well. The latest alert, I have a lot of alerts here, but the latest one is right here. As you can see, you can later disable or delete it as well. But getting back to that situation with Luna, if we buy it at 80 or so, my prediction is that it will bounce from there and attack $100, which is where I would probably take some profit because it could once again get rejected at $100. That's a quite stiff resistance area. All right, everyone, I hope that helps. Remember that this is just my opinion, not financial advice. If you have any questions, please email us at invest@altfins.com. Good luck trading.